One of the main reasons I got a Mavic 4 Pro is for the fantastic still imagery you can create with this. But you can take it a step further by making fantastic panoramic images. I'm going to show you step by step how I do that coming up. Hi, I'm Terry Vanderheiden, and today I'm going to talk about creating panoramic images with the Mavic 4 Pro. There are a couple of ways to make panoramic images with the Mavic 4 Pro. The most common way is to press this little button up here that reveals some other options. You have video on the left, and if you go to the right and scroll all the way down, you can see the panoramic option. When you click on this button, the drone is set up for panoramic mode. You can see that the software is asking you to designate where you want to start the pano by pressing the C1 button at the bottom of the controller. But before you do that, you're going to want to make sure you're shooting in RAW. If you don't switch this, you'll create a JPEG stitched panorama, which is fine, but you may want to do something even better. Since the Mavic 4 Pro defaults to JPEG, you want to click down here to make sure you're on RAW and not just JPEG. Now with that set, you're going to get the JPEG pano that's created by the DJI software, and you're going to get the original RAW files as well. Now you're ready. So you'll move the camera view over to set the start point and click the C1 button on the bottom of your controller. That's your starting point for the pano. Next, you have to tell the drone where to stop. So move the view over to the right and maybe down a little bit to determine where your endpoint is, and then click that C1 button again. Now you're ready to start the pano process by clicking the start button. The camera will go to the start position and shoot an image, then move down and shoot an image, and keep going like this until all the images in your pano are completed. It's important to be shooting on manual exposure, so all the frames of your pano have the identical exposure. If you shoot on auto exposure, you could find a part of the image that's going to cause the camera's meter to change exposure, like a bright sky or a dark forest, and that'll be very difficult to get a smooth looking panorama when you're working on individual files back in your computer. If you like this kind of content, hit that like button, and then leave a comment in the comment section if you'd like to see more videos on drone and drone photography. Remember to subscribe to the channel, ring that little bell icon to be reminded of my next video. Another way you can create panoramic image is to do it the old-fashioned way, and the Mavic 4 has a cool feature that'll allow you to do that easily. Just flip the screen on your controller into vertical mode, and then start shooting images left to right and overlap by about 1/3 on each image. Before you do that, you may want to move your drone back and up a little higher and switch to the 70mm lens on the camera. This will shoot a tighter shot for each frame, so when you assemble it later in Lightroom Classic, you'll have even more resolution. Let's head over to Lightroom Classic so you can see the difference between shooting in RAW and in the JPEG on the pano version. All right, let's get into Lightroom Classic and see those images that we shot from the sky with our camera that was in the sky. I've loaded in the images that you get. Now this is the JPEG that you actually get when the DJI software builds you a JPEG. So it's super simple, right? All you do is go in and your image is already done. It's already created. It's already stitched together. It's done inside of the DJI program instead of Lightroom. And then you can also, if you shot the RAW as well, you can have those RAW files that you can work with as well. So the other thing that we did is we moved the camera back and shot with a much closer lens, the 70mm lens, and then these are the files that are built. And all you did was just move, we turned the camera vertical and we moved the stages over, just like you would a panorama if you were doing it on the ground. So let's go ahead and build us the panorama from here. Now here's kind of the cool thing. These are all RAW files, right? This is a JPEG, but these are all RAW files. So if you wanted to make changes on a file, you can make the changes now and then synchronize them over all of them. But what Lightroom does, which is pretty slick, is when it builds you a panoramic, it creates a RAW file. So let's go ahead and just select all these, right click, go up to Photo Merge, go to Panorama, and let it create the panorama. So there it is. Let's go ahead and merge, and it'll actually build this panorama for us. So here's our panorama. We'll do a little bit of cropping here. Let's pull this in, do a little bit of cropping. And this is the one that we shot with the 70mm lens to begin with. But let me just show you a little something here that I think is pretty cool. If we go into the JPEG and we look down here, we can see that that's, when it's built all the way out, it's 8,800 pixels wide. We come into this one, we can see that it's 26,000 pixels wide. So a heck of a lot more information in this file. So let's illustrate this one more time that I think is pretty slick. Let's go ahead and open these in Photoshop. And I just click on one, hold the Command key, click on the other, and then right click, and we'll edit in Photoshop. Here's the two files we have inside of Photoshop. This is our JPEG Pano, and this is our RAW Pano that we built. Now, if we look at this here, we can see that down here on the JPEG, it's 130 megs of information that built up this file. This one here is over a gig of space inside of here. That, I think, is amazing, the resolution that we have. And we can actually look at this even in another way. Let's go in here and go to image and go to image size. Let's go and grab this one here and we'll go to image size. And we can see here that Photoshop shows us that this, at 300 dpi, if you printed it just as it is without any upscaling or anything, it's about 30 inches, 29.3 inches across. So that's how wide you can imagine a 30-inch print would be with high resolution. Now this one, when we come into this image here, if we go in and go to image size, we can see that we just printed this normally at 300 dpi, it'd be 85 inches wide. Not 30 inches, but 85 inches wide. So that is just so huge, I think. Just having that ability to make a large, gigantic print if you want, that's at our disposal. So check this out. This is another thing I think is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. As we zoom in on the JPEG, let's go into this corner here. We can read the signs here. It's pretty good. You know, we've got the leaves on the water. We can see the trucks going by. We can see all of this. But as we zoom in closer, we start getting it gets pixelized, and we can't really see. We can't read what this sign says. We certainly can't read what this sign says because there's not as much resolution in this JPEG. However, if we come in here to our file that we created with all the raw files that we built together in a Pano and zoom into that same area, we'll look at the difference. Oh, wow, we can read that now. We can read everything that's on this sign, and heck, we can actually even read the phone number that's on that sign. So look at the difference. You know, scrolling all the way back, we got this big Pano, and we can zoom in that close to see what that phone number is. If we went into the JPEG, it's obliterated. You can't see that. So I think this is the main reason why I like to create Panos on the old-fashioned way, with a bunch of raw files. Build those raw files out and then go through and create whatever image you want by building them again inside of Lightroom Classic. Yes, it's super convenient to have the DJI software build you a panoramic and then you're done. You can post it or print it or whatever it is you want to do with it. However, when you just take that extra step, turning the camera vertical, shooting shots that overlap, and then have Lightroom build you a panorama, now you have a raw file. And I guess the next thing that you can consider is this is a raw file, right? So we have the ability to come in here into our develop module and make whatever changes we want to make to this. We can put a mask over the sky. We can do tons of different things to create whatever image we want. We have the ability to change our colors. We can add more vibrance. We can add more saturation. We can lift the shadows up. We can do whatever we want because this is a raw file. And I think having that control as a raw file afterwards is just so important. And so for me, to take that extra second, turn the camera vertical and shoot those images, it's worth it. So you can do whatever you want when you're making your panos. I always try to do both. So I do a simple one that the camera actually builds. Then I'll do one where it gets me the raw files. Then I'll also go back in, see if I can get the camera back a little ways and turn on a longer lens and then shoot that again, because then I'm really going to get that resolution when I zoom in on it. So if I ever want to put this print, because panoramics, you know, they can just span a living room wall if you do a good panoramic. So I think that's a great way to go. All right, that's it for this week. See you next time.